The Song of Solomon by Brother R.W.S. Fifth Song, Chapter 3, verses 6 to 11, and Chapter 4, verses 1 to 7. A Revised Translation. Virgins. Who is this that cometh from the wilderness, as it were columns of smoke, perfumed with myrrh and frankincense, and all the powders of the merchant? Other virgins. Behold, it is the palanquin of Solomon. 80 valiant men are about it, of the valiant of Israel. They're all begirt with swords, being expert in war. Each has his sword upon his thigh against the night of peril. Other virgins. King Solomon hath made himself this bridal palanquin of the wood of Lebanon. He hath made the pillars thereof of silver, its inside of gold, its hangings of purple. The midst thereof is wrought in needlework, by the best beloved among Zion's daughters. Bride. Go forth, O ye daughters of Zion, and behold King Solomon with the crown wherewith his mother crowned him, in the day of his espousals, in the day of his gladness of heart. King Solomon entering, or we should say, the greater King Solomon. Behold, thou art fair, my love, behold, thou art fair. Thine eyes are as the eyes of doves beneath thy locks, now that thy veil is removed. Thy hair is as a flock of goats that browse on Mount Gilead. Thy teeth are as a flock of sheep that are even shorn, which come up from the washing, which are all of them twins or pairs, and none hath lost its fellow. Thy lips are like a breed of scarlet. Thy speech is charming. As the blossom of pomegranate, so are thy cheeks beneath thy locks. Thy neck is like a tower of David, built for an armoury, where hang 1,000 bucklers and all the shields of the mighty. Thy 2 breasts are like 2 young fawns that are twins, which feed among the lilies. Until the day breathe and the shades flee away, I will get me to this mountain of myrrh, and to this hill of frankincense. Thou art all fair, my love. There is no spot in thee. Explanatory notes and comments. The scene is now Jerusalem. Time. The dead have been raised, the judgment finished, and those found worthy made one in the glorious nature of the bridegroom. There has been a time of rejoicing. The enemies of the Lord in the land of Palestine have been destroyed, and King Messiah and his bride are seen approaching in the distance. At first sight it reminds us of the tabernacle in the wilderness, with its cloud of glory and armed hosts. When it approaches nearer, a wonderful palanquin is seen, guarded by 60 trained and armed soldiers, but their swords are not drawn. They seem to be coming from the wilderness, from Sinai, where the judgment and the marriage of the Lamb hath taken place. The work of destruction is over. He is now the real King of Salem, Prince of Peace, and is about to show his bride to the nation. That brings us to the moment when the events in the song happens. In Deuteronomy 43, verses 2 and 3, we read, Yahweh cometh, not came, from Sinai, and rose up from Mount Paran. He cometh with 10,000 of his saints. And the footnote says, these are literal renderings. The Authorized Version covers up the sense. Dr. Thomas, Brother Roberts, and others used them in these necessary cases. Habakkuk 3, verses 2 and 3. Looking towards the same direction. Eloah, the mighty one, cometh from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran. Isaiah 63 points to the same direction. Revelation 19 speaks of the same time. All this work has now in this song been completed. This song shows events, these same events, from another angle, not the fighting, but the return of the royal bridegroom to exhibit his queen, the only thing which counts in this song of loves. In the distance, like columns of smoke with delightful perfumes. Perfumes play a big part in Oriental weddings, as in Psalm 45, scented garments, smelling of myrrh, aloes, and cassia. It was the custom to carry in the marriage processions vessels filled with perfumes, and all the air around was made more fragrant by burning perfumes in the houses as the procession passed. Dr. Good has a very interesting note on this palanquin. He says, "The mode of travelling, or rather taking the air in a couch, litter, or vehicle of this name, supported on the shoulders of slaves or servants, is extremely common all over the East at the present time, 1803, and is unquestionably of immortal date. The palanquins are often of the most elegant and superb manufacture, as well as voluptuously soft and easy. Of this description was the couch or palanquin before us. There can be no doubt that it was a vehicle built in celebration of the royal marriage, and of its magnificence we can get some idea from its description. Escorted by a chosen band of warriors, and veiled in this rich and fragrant vehicle, in all the style of Oriental splendour, the monarch pays his visit to the beloved of his bosom." He also quotes a Mrs. Francis. "A Turkish couch," she says, "is made of wooden lattices, painted and gilded. Solomon's carriage of the wood of Lebanon, its pillars silver. The inside of a Turkish couch was painted with baskets of fruit, nosegays, intermingled with little mottos, according to the fancy of the artist. The midst of Solomon's palanquin was paved with love by the skilful daughters of Jerusalem. That is, with a rich, beautiful sort of tapestry, curiously wrought by the needle, where flowers of different kinds mixed with sentences expressing the power of love. The coverings of this vehicle was purple. The Turkish couches were covered in scarlet. The bride, true to the modesty she always shows, turns away our attention from herself and bids us concentrate on her glorious bridegroom. Behold this King Solomon, the greater King Solomon, with the crown wherewith his mother crowned him on the day of his espousals, in the day of the gladness of his heart, the day when he saw the travail of his soul, and was satisfied." Isaiah 53, verse 11. A similar expression is found in Psalm 45. "Thou lovest righteousness, and hatest iniquity. Therefore God, thy God, hath anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows." The words we sing fit the bride's command to behold him. "Look, ye saints, the sight is glorious. See the man of sorrows now. To the earth return victorious, every knee to him shall bow. Crown him, crown him. Crowns become the victor's brow." Bridegroom's description of his bride. We must keep in mind, in considering the details of the bridegroom's description of his bride, that it does not refer to a single maid, but to a vast multitude of God's saints, who have received divine nature and are one with Jesus and with God. That the marriage relation as constituted in Eden is absolutely pure in God's sight. An evil-minded person will miss the beauty and will see only the indecencies of his or her evil mind. This description is not the bride's idea of herself, but the bridegroom's, whose judgment as to what is pure and beautiful cannot be challenged. Chapter 4, verse 1. Behold, thou art fair, my love. Behold, thou art fair. Thine eyes are as the eyes of doves. The dove of Syria has wonderful, large, clear, and beautiful eyes. Travellers tell us that once seen they do not need a commentary. Eyes are a good indication of the real character. Dove's eyes show gentleness, humility, and simplicity. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. Matthew 6, verse 22. This is a remark by the bridegroom. There is only one thought in the mind of the bride, to do that which is pleasing in her beloved one's sight. Intense love brightens the eye, yet tender. Chapter 4, verse 15. Thy hair is as a flock of goats that browse on Mount Gilead. The hair of the eastern goat is of the most delicate, silky softness. Parkhurst's Hebrew lexicon says, the bride's hair is not compared merely to the long glossy hair of the eastern goat, but to a flock of goats browsing on Mount Gilead, an allusion to the numerous ringlets or tresses in which the hair was broken and which adorned the head of the bride, as the goats did on the sides and precipices of Mount Gilead. The Apostle Paul remarks, but if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given to her for a covering. 1 Corinthians 11, verse 15. Chapter 4, verse 2. Thy teeth are as a flock of sheep that are even shorn, which come up from the washing, which are all of them twins or pairs, and none hath lost its fellow. The teeth are a very essential part of the body. They must be clean and white and perfect in shape to give health to the body, not one bereaved of his mate. No gaps. One's mode of life and habits have a big effect upon our teeth. Chapter 4, verse 3. Delicate lines and finely curved, of scarlet are thy lips, whence flows a voice and speech of winning sweetness. This beautiful paraphrase of Joseph Bush clearly defines the meaning of the passage. Mouth beautifully formed, without outside help or make-up, a natural colour. The most important item, the speech, the words which come from the lips. How often we see a really beautiful woman who loses her attractiveness as soon as she opens her mouth. Not so the bride of King Messiah. Mouth perfect in shape and colour, and language that has a winning sweetness. A lovely voice, too, in harmony with her whole character. Such is described in Proverbs 16, verse 24. Pleasant words, which are as the honeycomb, sweet to the taste and health to the bones. No harsh voice, but a lovely softness that makes us love, though we may not see the speaker personally. Chapter 4, verse 3. As the flower of the pomegranate, so are thy cheeks beneath thy locks. And a footnote says, this translation of cheek is endorsed by nearly all the translators and lexicons, Castillo, Good, and Bush among them. The Hebrew word for temple occurs only 3 times. It does not mean the temple proper in this song, but the whole cheek. I have consulted a number of Hebrew lexicons, and they all agree that it includes the cheek. There is only one word in the Hebrew for the pomegranate tree, blossom, and fruit. Parkhurst says it obtains its name from its reflection of light. The colour of the blossom and fruit is red. First Hebrew lexicon says, half or one side of the pomegranate. Canticles 4 verse 3. John Taylor's Hebrew Concordance of 1757. In Canticles 4 verse 3, a section of the pomegranate has a fine resemblance to a beautiful cheek. In either case, apple or blossom, its lovely red colour reflecting brightly the light, a perfect, healthy, and therefore happy face, perfect in beauty as every part of the bride. Chapter 4 verse 4. Thy neck is like the Tower of David, built for an armoury, where there hang 1,000 bucklers, all shields of mighty men. This comparison with the Tower of David, hanging with shields of the mighty, is not a reference to her part in breaking into pieces the powers that have been invading the land, but a comparison of her beauty as King Messiah's bride. Mr. Bush has a good note in his Song of Songs on the real point of its teaching. The Tower of David here alluded to was, no doubt, from its situation on Mount Zion, from the beauty of its proportions, as well as the whiteness and smoothness of the stones of which it was built, an object of general admiration, and therefore the poet does well to compare it to the neck of the bride, and more so as her neck would probably be adorned with jewels, even as David's tower was hung with arms and shields of the mighty. It is but one of those beautiful comparisons to show the perfect beauty and vitality of the immortalized community, now one in nature with Jesus himself. Chapter 4 verse 5. Thy 2 breasts are like 2 fawns that are twins, which feed among the lilies. Dr. Mason Good, with his usual love for the beauty of the Hebrew original, paraphrases it, Thy swelling bosom offers to sight hills over beds of aromatic snows, peep, clad in dun, 2 young and timid roes. He remarks, the whole description is inimitably beautiful and delicate, but not to the commentators, who suppose the entire breast is represented by the roe alone, instead of the elegant and prominent nipples with its dun-coloured areola. The breast itself is obviously the bed of lilies, in which the roe, or rather fawn of the roe, is feeding, and through which its fearful and tremulous face seems to peep. No translation, however, can vie with the curious felicity of the original. Louth renders the Hebrew word roe or fawn signifies loveliness in general. Attempts to spiritualize these things, as they call it, takes our mind away from that which God is trying to impress upon us. The perfect beauty of this glorified multitude in one with Jesus, one with God. Contemplation makes us feel our own unworthiness. Chapter 4, verse 6. Until the day breathe and the shadows flee away, I will get me to this mountain of myrrh, and to this hill of frankincense. Here at last a reality, that which we have so longed and prayed for. The time has come when, as promised, the Beloved will make his abode with us, will dwell with us till the dawn breaks. The bride prayed for this in the third song. My loved one, turn and leave me not until night's shadows flee before the dawn. The bridegroom concludes his description, completely satisfied with the beauty and character of his bride. Here will I stay, my sweet abode, this mount of myrrh, this hill of frankincense, e'en night's shadows flee and the day commences. The promises made in Hebrews 13 verse 5 are now fulfilled. Lo, I am with you alway, even unto the end of the world. Matthew 28 verse 20. No more sickness, pain, sin, or death. No parting forever. Matthew 28 verse 20 in the Greek has this sense. I will never, never leave thee. I will never, never forsake thee. The evening spent resting, the day helping her beloved to bring peace and joy to all mankind. Chapter 4 verse 7. Thou art all fair, my love. There is no spot in thee. Here we gaze on this wonderful, perfect woman, this glorious ecclesia of God. Here indeed is an exhortation. Surely we ought to recognize that it is necessary now to develop some of the lovely characteristics of the bride, especially the mouth, the voice that is so sweet, speech of winning sweetness, so difficult to attain to now. That he might present it to himself a glorious ecclesia, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. Ephesians 5 verse 27. Christ is doing his part now, and the result depends upon ourselves.
Don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Drop a comment in the comments section and let us know what you thought, and make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. Please share it and spread the word. Thanks for watching, and remember to